Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafting with Slavie, where we make cards and other paper crafts. In today's card video, we're going to make this super adorable card using special delivery, fairy friends, Den Sweet Den. This is Screen Time, Snow Much Fun, Booyah, and the Perfectly Wicked stamp set. And actually I ended up using the Perfectly Wicked add-on as well. I just missed it. Here, this is the Hearts and Stars skinny tag, the largest of the large sticked rectangle stackables, one of the simple hillside borders, the Magic Picture Changer and Magic Picture Changer add-on, wood grain backdrops, and the brick stencil. So I started out by stamping all of my images out on Bristol Smooth cardstock using Lawn Fawn's Jet Black ink, which is awesome for Copic coloring, and it is one of my favorites. I then went ahead and I stamped out my cauldron images that I want to use in my Magic Picture Changer, and I created some masks. For my masks, I did go in and fill in those spaces where the cauldron bubbles are, and the only reason I did it this way is because I actually did 4 layers of masks, and I needed, because I'm making 2 cards, I needed 2 each of the one with just the lid and then the bubbly cauldron stuff. So I used my scan and cut to cut this out because I am newly obsessed with doing Magic Picture Changers with the white outline. Maureen Simon did it a few months ago now, I guess, weeks ago maybe, and I just love it. I think it creates a whole different feel for the cards, and it is totally what my images I feel have been missing. So you can do that with the matching dies, or you can do what I did, which is that I used my scan and cut to cut out the images. Then I went ahead and I ink blended in salvaged patina. So when the cauldron has all the bubbly goodness in it, it kind of emanates light. And then I went back in with wilted violet and I just softened out the edge a little bit. And the nice thing about oxide inks is they do sit on top a little bit. So if you do go over into the light spots more than you intended, you can push that color back by going back over it with the lighter color. For the cauldron, when it doesn't have anything in it, I just went in with the wilted violet. And then I started ink blending my backgrounds. My background is wilted violet, and then I used another new ink from Tim Holtz called Prize Ribbon. And I love this color. It is such a beautiful blue color that works really well with the wilted violet. It's kind of a really nice alternative to using chipped sapphire if you are familiar with those colors from the Distress line. I quite enjoy the Prize Ribbon. I think it makes a beautiful background for skies or for just a darker background. And then, as usual, when you make a darker background, I do hit the edges a little bit with black soot oxide ink as well. And then I go back over with the Prize Ribbon and the wilted violet, just blending it out until I'm happy with the result. And I have to say, this is the first time that I have really gotten into using my oxides for backgrounds, and I just love them. I am newly obsessed. Wasn't before, I am now though. Then I went ahead and I took another large stitched rectangle stackables die cut here, and I stamped it out using the wood grain backdrops. And then I started working on my background here. So I'm using the brick stencil, and this is texture paste in the opaque crackle, and that's Tim Holtz texture paste. And I'm using just a little spatula to apply it to my background. And I had never used the crackle texture paste, and I thought it would be a really nice addition to this backdrop. I don't know, something about crackly texture makes me think of witches and wizards, I guess. Alright, so then I went ahead and I lined up the simple stitched hillside here with that window from the add-on to the Magic Picture Changer, just to make sure that I was going to get perfect placement for my floor here. And I used walnut stain distress ink to ink blend this, and I actually used black soot distress ink to stamp it out, so that way if it moved around a little bit, it was still fine. And you see how my paper there, pardon me, is all wrinkly? That is just something that happens with any kind of texture paste because you're adding more moisture to the paper. It's just come up a lot in one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, so I want to assure you that that is normal. Alright, so we're also using the happy birthday pop-up here, and I am trying to figure out the best way to fold it so that I get a really nice score line. And actually this method here, using the ruler, was the easiest. Using the scoring board and the scoring tool, I just didn't think that it worked as great as I had hoped. This was a much better way to go about it, and that way you could ensure that you had nice straight lines and it didn't go to places where you didn't want it to fold over, if that makes sense. So I just went around and I did that, and then when I was ready and the lines were kind of there, I went ahead and pressed everything down, and then I used my bone folder to crease everything nicely so that when I was ready to assemble it inside my card, it would fold up really nicely. Alrighty, so now on to the coloring. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of music and I will be back. Okay, now that the coloring is done, I'm just gonna cut out my panels for the magic picture changer here. And I am going to place some 1/8 inch score tape on these little tabs. I am going to give them a good press with my scoring tool, and I am now applying the anti-static powder tool to all the mechanisms of this magic picture changer. And I'm using my scoring tool to kind of buff out the harsh edges from when I die cut these pieces. Pardon me, I can't speak today. So I went ahead and removed that backer paper before I assembled the rest of the magic picture changer. And so the reason you want to apply the anti-static powder is that it makes the mechanism move a little bit easier. So here I am just putting all the pieces into the slots so that it moves, and applying even more powder to encourage that movement. Now, I've been having some struggles recently with my magic picture changers. I'm actually thinking that it might be my adhesive, so I need to just make a note that when I put these together, I really need to make sure I burnish that tape really well, because it's not sticking as well as I would like, and then it gets a little bit stuck. So then I went ahead and attached foam tape to the back of this. Now, if you're going to do this like I did, note that adding foam tape to the back of this mechanism and the thickness of the mechanism, it's like you're putting a double layer of foam tape, which is why I am doubling up my foam tape here to put on the back of that panel. And you'll notice on the left there, I forgot to adhere the cover, the add-on cover that comes with the magic picture changer add-on, but I do that as I assemble the cards. So here I am just taping this down to my card base and releasing the backing paper on the magic picture changer. And then I'm going to adhere the cover plate, for lack of a better word, and finish adhering the card to the card base, and just give it a good press and hold it down. Even use something heavy to weigh it down. And when we adhere all of our images, it's going to be barely noticeable that there's that little bit of a seam. So then I went ahead and I started gluing down my images, and I used a combination of my art glitter glue, which is my favorite wet adhesive, as well as a combination of scrapbook adhesives in just the regular size as well as the thin size in the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch squares. I had a lot of fun with this card. As some of you might recognize, I am totally channeling Maureen Simon here. There's just so many cute images, and I love how she manages to use so many components and assemble a scene, and you would think that it would be super busy, but it's not. It ends up working out really well, and I'm really happy with how this card turned out. For those of you who are not aware, that is totally Draco Malfoy and Pansy Parkinson from Slytherin house, which is my niece's favorite Harry Potter house, which is why I made this card for her, and I tried to stick to the Slytherin colors as well. And then this is me assembling the inside of the happy birthday. As you may have noticed, there is no sentiment on the front. The sentiment is on the inside. And just sticking to that green for Slytherin house. And then I thought that the front, for all of its little bits and pieces, needed a little something extra. So I cut out those sparkly stars in black and silver glitter, and I just booped them on, and that's my finished card. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this card and this video, and I hope to see you in my next card making adventure. Thanks so much and have a great day.